A jump cut is an editing technique that is when two shots that are similar in subject, angle, and or framing are edited after one another. This usually includes some sort of movement of the subject, which is shown through the slight variation of the angle, framing, and or the placement of the character or shot to create a jump-like effect of the subject, and which ultimately creates a sense of discontinuity and or disorientation. Jump cuts are also utilized to accelerate a sequence of shots and or communicate the passage of time to the audience by cutting through time and space. However, they should not be confused with a match cut, or also known as a graphic match, as match cuts are used in continuity editing to create a seamless effect by putting and relating two graphically matched shots together as a way of creating a seamless transition. Whilst jump cuts are almost the exact opposite of match cuts, as they are used in discontinuity editing, due to how they create a jarring effect that is both conspicuous and abrupt, to result in a non-seamless effect of editing. They can also be used to emphasize a certain sequence of shots or to create a sense of disorientation in the audience. The obvious example of jump cuts being used would be from Jean-Luc Godard's film Breathless. As you can see here, the jarring effects of the jump cuts being used is quite noticeable, but they are utilized to create an almost jump-like effect of the female character, and also coordinate with the dialogue of the male character. Another great example of a jump cut used is in Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade. In this scene, young Indiana Jones is given a fedora by the gang leader, and then as you can see here, it jump cuts to the future of adult Indiana Jones. This scene shows a jump cut being used as a temporal transition from one time period to another, and thus communicates the passage of time in a somewhat non-seamless way. However, when using jump cuts, the editor really needs to think about what they are doing, as when not used properly, the jarring effects of the cut can really make a scene and or a sequence of shots just look unnatural and off-putting, as I've demonstrated here. So, realizing that this could happen, to avoid using jump cuts, a technique called the 30-degree rule was formulated to eliminate them. However, I will not be covering that technique. Jump cuts are also used in other types of media, such as music videos, vlogs, and TV series, as you can see here. A quite recent example of a jump cut being used is in Avril Lavigne's Hello Kitty. Here you can see that the editor makes use of the jarring effect as a technique to create a montage-like effect of her dancing. This is a good example of jump cuts being used in a music video by the editor to take its jarring effect and make good use of it. So in summary, the editing technique of a jump cut is definitely used quite often, albeit not always the first choice for an editor, but then when they want to accelerate time or emphasize a certain sequence of shots, this jump cut is definitely a great option to choose from.